Nvidia just hit a new all-time high, crossing $4 trillion in market cap. This isn't just a chart breakout, it's history being made. The stock is up over 67% since the April tariff lows, and AI demand is only growing, with major clients like Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla scrambling for Nvidia's chips. But the question is Nvidia still a buy at these levels, or is it time to take profits? Let's break it all down from the technical levels, the volume flow, and what I'm watching for this week. Before we dive into the charts, if you want weekly trade setups, deep dives, and live analysis, make sure to join the Uplift Markets newsletter. The link is below, it's 100% free, and built to help you become a smarter trader. So let's pull up a daily chart here of Nvidia. As you guys can see, we are on a daily chart here of Nvidia, and we are well above key areas of support. We are above the 9 EMA and the 50 EMA, which is this yellow line right here that you guys are seeing on my daily chart here of Nvidia. As you guys can see, when we are in an uptrend, which has been really well established here since the beginning of overall April and these April lows, here we've been seeing an intense upward trend, and every time we dip below the 9 EMA, which for example here we come back down and we find buyers. Same thing here, we dip down and we find buyers exactly there. So it's showing that the trend is towards upside and it's being heavily favored here by institutions. Now you may be saying, well, we are pretty overextended here, and how can I enter this name? Well, there's still a lot of upside here, and I'll tell you why. Here, as you guys can see, we were at pretty much all-time highs here, right? That we previously formed at around January of this year. It was around $153. We obviously broke that now, and we actually came back and retested it and had the 9 EMA matching that level. We're seeing that upside. But something I want to reiterate here is that we're going to measure how intense the buyers have been since this pullback to the 9 EMA. And we can do that quite simply by plotting an anchored VWAP at that low. And as you guys can see, if I zoom in here on the chart, we're seeing a level of confluence, right? Meaning that there's 3 indicators here that are showing that it's a good level to buy there if the stock decides to pull back towards this area here, right? This area, this zone, because we have first the 9 EMA, this red line, the low anchored VWAP from the recent pullback to the 9 EMA where we found buyers, right? Measuring those buyers' momentum and motives, and also it's pretty much the level, the all-time high, right? So if the stock does pull back towards that level, we would like to see buyers there, and pretty much there's a lot of confluence or pretty much reasoning and evidence that buyers are going to be located there to get the price at a cheaper overall stock price than what it is right now and move it towards upside. As you guys know, I've been really bullish on this name on the long term. I still have a lot of bullishness here expecting for the year, and I have a lot of price targets towards the $194 on Nvidia, and the best case, the stock still sees that upward momentum. We're still seeing that growth in earnings and the revenue. We will see the stock go towards $261 as my final price target for Nvidia. As you guys can know, this is more of a swing trade, longer term investing, but it can heavily be favored here by day trades or swing trades on the intraday, catching these small moves that slowly move on the longer term towards upside. You might be saying, well, why are you so bullish on Nvidia? Well, let's take a little look back and let's look a little bit at the fundamentals here. As you guys can see, the DCF valuation is still showing that Nvidia is undervalued by 33% with a price target towards $237.50, right? It's still being undervalued with the best case, and it's being at a 31% value. If you look simply at the financials of the company, we've been seeing extreme revenue growth very well, which is what we want to see. It shows expansion and client acquisition. Looking here as well, the operating income increasing and the net income showing that not only are they bringing in clients, they're profitable. Looking at the earnings waterfall here, we're seeing the revenue at $149 billion. They only have the cost of revenue at negative pretty much $44 billion, and they're keeping a gross profit of $105 billion. That's extremely high margin here for Nvidia. Now, something I really want to reiterate here, and that I think is an important driver, and Wall Street has noticed this, is the cash flow statement. If we look here at, for obviously the investing cash flow is going to be down because they've been heavily investing in AI and data infrastructure. But if we look at the free cash flow here on Nvidia, ever since, let's see, January 2024, so pretty much a year, we've been seeing an intense upside growth in the free cash flow from 27 billion towards a 72 billion. That's intense upside growth. And what people don't realize here is that that's cash that the company can overall use to invest heavily more, to do more research, R&D, and also stock buybacks, just giving back, that share value towards investors, increasing the EPS here of the overall company. So I'm really bullish on this company. You guys know that, especially with the projects like Project Stargate and a lot of heavy demand, especially with the Middle East, slower expansion towards Europe and the Middle East, right? We're seeing developments here in North America, but primarily the rest of the world has to eventually catch up. So we're going to start seeing more expansion in Asian markets as well, and in the Middle Eastern area of development, especially as well in Europe, as you guys know. Now, as well, AI demand is pushing the chart towards upside, but also keep your eye here on the risks, right? We want to keep in mind the earnings and the potential chip restrictions from tariffs, especially from the new administration. As well, the risk is always on the increase as the upside is continuing, but with proper risk management and proper share sizing, this can be an effective trade. If you like this style of deep technical breakdowns with real trade setups, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications. And don't forget to subscribe to the Uplift Markets newsletter, where we help you prepare for the week and become a better trader. And as always, thanks for watching, stay focused, stay uplifted, and don't let the markets whip you guys out. I'll see you guys on the next one.